What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to JoJo Speaks, my YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much for joining
Mhm.
us. This is our review for 90 Days, The Last Resort, Season 2, Episode 10. A couple things I want
Yes.
you guys to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to
Mhm.
my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to mash that thing. So why don't you go ahead and mash it for us? Also, we'd like to see some thumbs up for this video. Make sure you're letting us know that you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this episode of the 90 Day Last Resort, Season 2, Episode 10. Let us know what your thoughts are on the happenings and goings on this episode. Also, be sure to press the
Yes.
notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody out here know that JoJo Speaks is here in these YouTube streets. I got my main man Dustin back with me to review this show. How you doing, Dustin?
Yes, I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm doing better. Thank you for always being there for me as well, and thank you for being always by my side as well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You're very welcome, Dustin. All right. So we're going to start where we left off in that last episode, where we have Brandon recently finding out that Julia, um, in his mind, has cheated on him. She called up her ex-boyfriend and she said that they kissed, but it didn't go any further.
Hmm.
And Brandon has been extremely affected by this news. He's not taking it very well. He's been, kind of out of sight of Julia for this entire episode. He really doesn't have much interaction with her, and when Julia does try to interact with him, he kind of pushes her away, which is understandable because when you find out that something that has happened, I think she said it happened for almost 4 years previous, or
4 years ago,
between
yeah.
2 and 4 years ago,
Hmm.
and he's just now finding this out. And so I completely understand why Brandon has been so affected by this news. And if someone's not ready to talk about something, is not something that someone's not ready to talk something out with you about some information that they're just finding out, you have to give them space and you have to give them time to be able to digest the information that they have just received. So I
Right.
really do feel for Brandon, and I don't know where I stand as far as he and Julia's relationship is concerned,
I
because
think
Julia
it's
does
done
not want.
for. I think the, I
Well,
think the I think the relationship is done for.
and
I
what and
don't
why do
think
you say that, Dustin?
I don't think I think this is going to be the final straw for Brandon. I don't think that he can. I don't think that he can heal after this. There's certain things that people cannot move forward from, and I think she's officially hit the nail on the head, Jonathan. I think she's hit the nail on the head because I don't think that he's going to be able to move forward from this uh,
It seems like
situation.
it is affecting him quite deeply. On top of the fact that he does want children, and Julia has stated over and over and over again she does not want children, at least not at this time. I don't think she ever said that she never wants any children, but this doesn't seem to be the right time for Julia to become a child.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons why she is abstaining from having sexual relations with him. Apparently,
Right.
she tried the previous night. Unfortunately, Brandon kind of fell asleep, but hey, it is what it is. So the next couple that is actually confessing during this hypnotizing or hypnotist therapy session is Rob and Sophie. So Sophie reveals that while at a gathering with some of her friends and Rob, she revealed some information that Rob told to her in confidence, that she was not supposed to reveal to anyone else, and she apologized for that. And I was very, very happy for Sophie being able to take accountability, because we haven't seen Sophie do a lot of that. She's been expecting a lot of accountability from Rob, but not necessarily looking on the inside and really reflecting on the faults that she has in the relationship. It just seems from the viewer's standpoint that Rob is doing all the bad and Sophie is the innocent bystander. So I'm glad that Sophie was able to bring up something from her past that has obviously hurt Rob, and of course
Hmm.
she apologizes for that. Then Rob reveals that he was sorry for contacting a woman while they were in a relationship. Of course, this has been their storyline since the first time that I've seen them on
Yes,
90
it
Day
has.
Fiance. That Rob
Yeah.
has an issue with remaining. I would say in quotations faithful, because we don't know the extent of his quote infidelity. He hasn't
Right.
really confessed to actually having sexual relations with anyone. However, he's been in contact or in communication with people outside of his relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
right now their marriage, and that is obviously a big issue for Sophie. But I was happy to see that Rob was able to at least admit to something that he has done wrong. And for some reason, at this point of the episode, mind you, I'm feeling that I'm seeing some maturity from Rob, and I'm very happy to see that. And anytime that Rob is not arguing with Sophie, I'm happy to see him in that state, because he seems
Yes.
to be more happy. He seems to be more willing to talk. He seems to be more engaged with the conversation,
Right.
and I'm very happy to see this. How were you? How was your reaction, Dustin, to not
Well,
only Sophie's confession but Rob's as well?
I was I was so happy to see such light of Rob, because I think I do agree with what you said a lot, because I do believe that this people are working on this, working what they're going through, but I do think that they're making progress, a lot of
Hmm.
progress being made in this show, and I hope they continue to make progress. Uh, it's a hard, sometimes it's a hard thing to make a lot of progress, but sometimes you gotta work on you gotta work on it, Jonathan. But it's a hard thing to make progress a lot sometimes, but you gotta get through it sometimes. So you'll get through it. They're gonna get through it. I think they're gonna make it through. Hope they do anyway. And
Right. I am rooting for Sophie and Rob. I
mhm,
want to see them happy. I want to see them in love. And I want to see them, just acting like an actual married couple. And at least right now, they're acting like friends to me. They're acting like really, really good friends to me. I'm really not getting
right,
necessarily married couple as of yet. I'm hoping that that will start to evolve as we go through the rest of the season. But I do really have high hopes for Rob and Sophie. Rob seems to be in a place
yeah,
where he's willing to work on his issues that he has with Sophie in their marriage. And I hope that it turns out for the best for both of them in the end,
I do too.
whatever the best outcome for both of them might be. Then we move on to Florian and Stacy, and I have to admit that I don't necessarily remember what Stacy revealed to Florian. Dustin, do you remember what Stacy revealed during this part of the therapy?
No, she said she was talking about No, I don't remember that part, but I do. I remember when they were sitting together with Jasmine and they were talking about Jasmine and Gina. But they're supposed to be talking about themselves, and they're talking about Jasmine and Gina's situation, and I don't like that. When you're sitting there in therapy and you're talking about somebody else's situation, that don't sit right with me, Jonathan. You're supposed to be talking about your own situation. It's, you guys are on the show for a reason, and you're involving in somebody else's situation, and it's not your situation to involve yourself in.
Yeah,
So
I don't. I honestly don't remember what Stacey said, and I do apologize about that if anyone
that's
takes
okay.
offense to it. But
That's okay.
I just can't remember. But Florian actually admits to an affair that he had with someone else, and we get a flashback to when Stacey actually found out
Hmm.
about this affair during I'm assuming was a previous season of 90 Day Fiance, and it seems that they have sort of gotten through that. I won't say gotten past that, but I'll say
Mm,
that it's possible that they've gotten through that. And Florian and Stacy, like I had my doubts about Stacy at the beginning, watching the
I
first episode.
I have my doubts. I have my doubts about Stacey and Florian. Period. Um,
Right. But
I don't think. Yeah,
I
I
feel
really
like
do have.
I feel like I'm starting to warm up to Stacey a little bit,
Hmm.
and she's starting to seem more agreeable. It seems like she does actually want to work on her relationship, and it seems like Florian is there for the right reasons as well. So I'm
Hmm.
happy to see that at least both of them are doing well. Then we move on to Josh and Natalie. So
Hmm.
Josh has almost nothing to say during this
No.
therapy session,
Mm-mm.
and it's kind of disheartening to see him in this state with Natalie. And, this kind of theme kind of goes throughout the rest of the episode, that it doesn't seem as though Josh is necessarily interested in being in a relationship with Natalie, whereas Natalie seems to be clinging on to Josh with all of her might. And it seems like Josh just does not care. And I have an issue with that. And I don't know why Josh is here, because Josh does not seem to want to participate in these therapy sessions. And when you have two people who are supposed to be working on their relationship, and it's only one person who's actually putting in the effort, that is very disheartening to see for us as viewers, to see that Josh is clearly checked out. And they bring this up later on while they're making
Right.
s'mores, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Josh brings up some story that seems to have no significance whatsoever to Natalie. And once again, I don't remember what Natalie said during this session.
Hey, Bianca.
Hey Bianca, thank you so much for being here. Bianca says down in the comments here, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to JoJo Speaks. Hit that like and subscribe button as you come in. Now take your seats and get ready for a treat, because because we're about to have a good time. Thank you so much for that comment, Bianca. I appreciate you being here so much. I love you, girl. But yeah, it's very disheartening to see Josh totally like checked out of this entire entire resort thing. It's so sad to me to see Natalie pretty much just here all by herself. What are your thoughts on Josh and Natalie, and where do you see their relationship going as we get through the rest of the season?
I see the relationship going nowhere. I don't think the relationship is going to last. I don't, because there has to be two people in a relationship and a friendship both. I don't know how many times I said to say this, but I have to say it again, because I don't see it lasting. I really don't, because he's not putting in the work. She's putting in the work, but he's not putting in the side his work. So there has to be two people putting in the work in order to make it last. And to be honest with you, Jonathan, I don't think he wants it to last.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's happy where he's at right now in the relationship. I think that he just wants to be done with it, which I
Right.
understand. I understand that 100%. I understand where he wants to be, but if you want to be done with it and then get out of the show, let somebody take your place, because I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you back.
Yeah. Josh is very off-putting for me personally. Once again, if we are all here to work on our relationships and you don't want to participate in the activities that the producers have set up for you to work on your relationship, why are you here? I don't know if anyone's ever been kicked out of the resort, but I think Josh deserves to be Josh. Oh, okay. So Josh and Natalie don't need to be here whatsoever. They clearly, Josh is clearly not interested in working on his relationship. So therefore, why are you with Natalie? A number one. That's my first question. And my second question is, why are you here? So I don't want to see Josh and Natalie anymore during this season. Then we move on to Benny and Ariella. So Ariella apologizes to Benny for using less than positive language when referring to Benny, concerning the way that she's feeling about him, and saying, well, I might have called you this and I might have called you that, and I know that those things may have hurt your feelings, and I do apologize about that. So I was happy that Ari was able to think of something, and at least she recognizes that those things that she is doing is not conducive to them having a positive relationship. But Benny then replies with his confession of a time where he was in communication with another woman near the beginning of their relationship, and Ari is continuously chiming in and sort of kind of interrupting him while he's explaining what his confession is. And I find that to be someone who just wants to she just wants to have either all of the attention on her, or she has a vendetta or a what is the word that I'm looking for? She has a motive
Oh, yeah.
to make Benny look a certain way. And she says in the confessional, well, Benny's talking about this thing that might have happened at the beginning of our relationship, but he's not owning up to the actual infidelity that I have, quote, proof of, that I've been accusing him of, that he said absolutely nothing about. We have another
Yeah.
comment down here.
And like I said, Jonathan, if you have the proof, let me see the proof. I I want to see the proof, Jonathan, some kind of proof, because I don't think you have the proof, but that's just my opinion.
Right. We have somebody new in the comments down, Cheeky. Hey, Cheeky. Thank you so much for being here. Cheeky says down in the comments, Josh only wanted to be on TV from day one. I would agree with that because
I
Josh
agree.
seems to want the spotlight, especially, since he had to roll up in that, I think it was like a Ferrari or something in the previous
Mhm.
episode to get out to this
Yeah.
campground. Like, like, sir, like you ain't all that. Like you are not that dude. I'm so sorry. You might be an attractive man, but you ain't really all of that. So yes, I do agree with that, Cheeky. And Cheeky has another comment down here in the comments, which says Josh is thirsty and Natalie is crazy. She belongs in a cuckoo's nest. Don't even start with read that girl. That might have been a typo, excuse me, and Psycho. So I don't know who you're referring to in the latter part of your comments, but yes, Natalie. I now mentioned this in our previous review. I can't
Right.
put my finger on it, but Natalie kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know if it's the color of her eyes. I don't know if it's the way that she talks, but I don't know if I will be comfortable in a room with her. Like I just something about her
Mm-mm.
is just kind of off-putting to me and seems like unreal to me with Natalie.
I
But
can tell you one thing. I wouldn't be comfortable in a room with Natalie, Jonathan. I wouldn't be comfortable in a room with Natalie if I was in a room with her. Um, they would have to separate me and Natalie in a different room, because I would not feel comfortable in a room with with her. A period, point blank.
right, but getting back to Ari and Benny, I really just want them to break up. I really do. I don't know why Ari is holding on. I don't know why Benny is holding on. To be honest, like Benny is such a charismatic, beautiful man, and to be connected with this woman who clearly has an agenda, who clearly has a vendetta against him, to just drag him through the mud throughout this entire series
Mm.
it is just so disappointing to me and a little bit ugly to me as well. And I don't want to see this man who seems to be, putting in as much effort as he wants to. I do think that
Right.
he could be trying more. However, they've been together for quite some years. So,
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Benny might be tired of trying and might be tired of doing what he might deem as the right thing. And I just want Benny to get out of this relationship. Shiki says down in the comments, if this happens when the baby was barely born, and how she's still holding on to it, I see why Benny is not with her. Yes, I see why Benny is not with her either. Because who would want to be with a woman who's not showing that she loves and cares for you? If you're not going to show that you love and care for me, not only in private but also in public, and much less on a television show, and all
Mhm.
you're trying to do is to beat me down and to make me look like literally look like the bad guy, then we have no business of being together whatsoever. So yeah,
Nope.
I don't want to see Ari at all. Josh and Ari, they gotta go. They got
And
to go.
do you think that we're gonna see continue to see these two couples in the whole season, or we're gonna have to wait till the last episode of the season, or do you think that they're gonna be cutting out in the middle of the season?
I do feel like all of the couples that are involved, all six couples that are involved, will make it to the end. I really don't see
Mhm.
anyone walking off or being kicked off. However, when it comes to their decision on the last episode, I won't say that I fully expect, but my hope and dreams is that Natalie will break up with Josh. And that Benny will break up with Ari, and just leave it at that. Because these two couples have no business being together
Mm.
whatsoever. Then we move
Right.
on to Gino and Jasmine. And so Jasmine apologizes for the way that she's been talking to Gino, the way that she has kind of demasculated or emasculated rather him, and embarrassing him and things of that nature. And Jasmine's apologies always sound so sincere, but my main issue with Jasmine is whenever she gets upset, whenever she gets mad at Gino, she always reverts back to her old ways, calling Gino out, constantly complaining about the things that he does not do for her. And it's like, if you're going to apologize, apologize. Now, I will say though that although I don't see Gino apologizing to Jasmine, like I don't think I've really ever seen Gino apologize to Jasmine for
Neither
anything
have
that
I.
he has done.
Neither have
However,
I.
when Gino continuously makes the mistakes that he makes with Jasmine, I understand why Jasmine gets out of character with Gino. So at the end of the day, I really feel like Jasmine doesn't necessarily have to apologize to Gino. I mean, yes, she said some derogatory things towards Gino. She could be a lot more disrespectful, in my opinion, as far as I'm concerned. However, I think what Jasmine has always, all the problems that Jasmine has brought to Gino's attention have always been valid. I've never disagreed with Jasmine as far as her contentions with Gino are concerned, because Jasmine has been on the right side of things, at least from my standpoint or my
Yes, she
viewpoint,
has.
for the most part. And so it is what it is. Then
The
the
person that
therapist.
I totally disagree with is Gino. I don't, I don't disagree with Jasmine at all. I agree with Jasmine. I don't totally agree with Gino part. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't either. And so then the therapist asked Gino, what is the memory that came back to your mind? And Gino says he does have a memory. However,
He
he
don't
does
want to
not
share
want
it.
to share it with the rest of the
Mhm.
group or with Jasmine. And
Nope.
Jasmine is saying in the confessionals, I'm hearing about all this infidelity from these other couples. So I can only assume that Gino does not want to tell me that he done cheated on me because I'm going to blow up on his ass. And I don't want to say that I completely believe that Gino has cheated on Jasmine, because I honestly don't see Gino cheating on Jasmine. I don't see why Gino would have any infidelity when it comes to his marriage with Jasmine. However, I do think that it's something that will tug on Jasmine's heartstrings and truly hurt Jasmine's feelings. And so after a little bit of prodding from the other couples, after a little bit of prodding from the therapist, he apologizes to Jasmine for telling her to go back to Panama whenever they get into their fights and whenever they get into their disagreements and arguments. And
Even though I think she should go back to Panama City, because I think she's happier in Panama City, with her kids, and I think that she's miserable in the United States of America. That's just my opinion. I think she's
yeah,
miserable
I,
here.
I I don't know where Jasmine will be happiest, because she does seem to be happy with Gino at times. I won't say that she's happy with Gino all the time, because
Mhm.
that would be definitely a lie. But she does see so Jasmine. The reason why Jasmine is still in America though is because she wants this to work. She wants things to work out great for her and Gino. It's just that Gino is not putting forth a great effort to be able to make things better for their relationship. And so
Mhm.
so it is what it is as far as they're concerned. So all of the couples leave the
Mhm.
whole leave the beach area, and Julia tries to approach Brandon. And Brandon does not want to hear it. Brandon does not want to talk to her. Hey, Robin, I see Robin down there in the comments. Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey!
Robin.
Thank you so much for being here, girl. So
Mhm.
Brandon does not want to talk to Julia at all, which once again I completely understand. He just found out this information that happened a couple years ago with his with his girl, and he doesn't know how to digest it. He doesn't know how to take it in. He doesn't know how to receive it. So I completely understand. I wish that he would have maybe taken a therapist aside and maybe had a one-on-one with them, or maybe even one of the other men in
Mhm.
the group to just have a talk with them about it, or something of that nature, instead of just being out. He eventually went over to the tent that they built on the first day of this camping trip alone,
All right.
to just have some alone time. And so I do respect that. But all the couples get around the campfire, and they're going to make s'mores. They're going to make s'mores. And then we see Jasmine actually approaching Florian, and apologizing to him about
Mhm.
their spats that they've had earlier in the season. Um, and I appreciate Jasmine for this gesture, because one thing I can say about Jasmine, when Jasmine knows she's wrong, she will take accountability for it and she will address it right then and, well, maybe not right then and there, but she will eventually address it. Jasmine is very vocal. If has an opinion, she's going to make it known, and I truly appreciate that about Jasmine. I think Jasmine has been one of my favorite characters on 90 Day Fiance of all time, because she is just that entertaining and she brings something special to the show. Anytime that she opens her mouth, my smile just magically appears on my face. I just love to see Jasmine. And Florian, says that, hey, I have nothing against you, Jasmine. We're all here for the same reasons, and we all just want to work on our relationships. And Jasmine then says that she feels as though Florian is the only person here on this retreat that can maybe talk to Gino and encourage him to be more vulnerable, and encourage him to talk a little bit more during these exercises, because Gino seems to be disconnected a little bit. And Gino never came across to me as someone who would necessarily be open in these types of settings. Gino comes across to me as someone who's an extremely private person, which is okay. But if you're a private person, maybe being on the television show is not the best place for you to be. But
I wouldn't be on no. I wouldn't be on no TV, Jonathan. No
right, yeah, I wouldn't mind being on TV personally. I think I would enjoy it, but Gino doesn't seem like the type of person that really belongs on television. Robin says down in the comments, I got caught up elsewhere and missed the beginning of this live. No worries, I'm here and love you. I love you too, Robin. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your presence, my dear. I appreciate your presence, Auntie Robin. So yeah,
Thank you, Robin.
I'm so happy that Jasmine was able to apologize to Florian. That was a beautiful moment, and it also allowed me to see Florian in a new light. I kind of see Florian in a particular light that like initially I did not like him necessarily too much. I thought he felt like he was up here and everyone else is down here, but I had to come and realize that he's from a different culture, and the things that he says, he may not mean them the way that they necessarily sound, but I do think that he is a good person at the end of the day. Then we have Jasmine. Well, first of all, I have to say that Natalie, instead of putting a marshmallow on her stick to burn, she puts a potato on her stick.
Why'd you do that for?
Well, Dustin, she said that potatoes are very common in her home country. I, for one, am a sucker for potatoes. I think potatoes might be my favorite food of all time. I'll eat them in any way, shape, and form. I love French fries. I love eat cut up potatoes. I love me some mashed potatoes. I love me some potatoes. So I cannot blame Natalie. However, with her being maybe unfamiliar with the whole camping thing that we do here in the US, she probably thought that it didn't matter what she put on the stick. She might have put a hot dog or a burger on the stick, and she would have thought that it would have been okay. So, but I cannot blame Natalie for wanting to put a potato on the stick, because I love me some potatoes. But anyways, Jasmine then confronts Josh about his lack of willingness to participate in these exercises that they're doing while they are on this retreat. And she asked him, do you truly love Natalie? Do you really want to be with her? And he didn't really answer the question directly. I can't remember exactly what his answer was, but it wasn't that, oh, I love Natalie and I want to be with her. But I think he said, do you think I would be here if I did not love her? That was his answer, instead of saying, I do love her and I do want to be with her and I do want things to work out between us. But he said, he gave the defensive answer of, do you think I would be here if I did not love Natalie? And Jasmine is saying what we're all thinking here, which is that it doesn't seem like you want to be here. It doesn't seem like you want to participate. So why are you guys here? Josh takes this actually in stride. He doesn't seem to be offended by this whatsoever. And some of the other couples, chime in on the conversation. But I'm so glad that Jasmine was the one to point it out, because I see Jasmine as the ultimate truth teller. I don't hear Jasmine. I don't expect any lies to come out of Jasmine's mouth. Jasmine sees something, she's going to call it out. And I love that about Jasmine. And then we have someone going into the tent with Julia, I can't remember exactly who it was, but
I think it
they
was Jasmine. I think it was
yeah,
Jasmine.
yeah, it must. I think I'm pretty sure it was Jasmine. And so Jasmine goes into the tent with Julia, who is Brandon's significant other, and Julia saying, Brandon just needs some time alone, and Jasmine is saying, we're here together, and I'm going to support you. And Jasmine is a girl's girl. You know what I'm saying? I love the way that she supported Nikki in their 90 Day Fiance tell all. Jasmine just supports the girls out here, and I love that about Jasmine. And Jasmine seems to be a true and genuine friend, and I would love to have her as a friend of mine as well. I'm sure that she gets down with the gays. I mean, one of her best friends who she visited in Miami was one of us, honey girl. So I love that Jasmine is who he is. I just adore Jasmine. But anyways, we get to the next day. Rob is about to have breakfast with the other guys, and he mentions that Sophie seems to be upset, or seems to be in a bad mood when it comes to him, and he doesn't understand why. And so then we cut to Jasmine approaching Sophie, and Jasmine's like, "You're not going to come have breakfast with us? What's going on?" And Sophie's like, I did not have a good night. I went through, she went through Rob's phone, which is another thing that I want to point out. In most
Right.
in a lot of reality shows, people really aren't allowed to have their phones with them unless they're on like the Housewives of such and
Orange
such.
County.
You fill in the
Orange.
blank.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that they're able to have access to their phones so freely. But I guess that's really a good thing, because if they didn't have access to their phones, we wouldn't have gotten this moment. But Sophie says that she has caught Rob being in communication with other girls while they are at the resort, while they are on this retreat. And Rob seems to not have learned his lesson, which this truly disappointed me, because the last thing I wanted to see was Rob taking 5 steps back.
Right.
Because to me, it seems like Rob has made such a great effort to make things right between he and Sophie. And while he is out here on this resort, or at this resort rather, he's in communication with other girls. Now, I'm not sure exactly how Rob is going to react to these accusations. I'm sure Sophie will have no issue with bringing this up. I hope that Sophie does not bring it up in a group session. I hope that is done just one-on-one, or them with one of the therapists. I hope that's the way that it comes out. But Dustin, were you surprised by this revelation, and what was your
No, I
reaction to
wasn't.
finding this out?
I was shocked to find it out, but I wasn't surprised to find it out, Jonathan,
Okay.
because I I thought we would hear more, see this way before we did. But I hope that I hope that Rob and Sophie, I hope they can get past this, But I don't know if they're going to or not, but I hope they do. It's really shocking to me. I didn't think he would do that to her, but I guess you never know. So
Right.
it's really shocking to me, to be honest with you, Jonathan.
Yeah, surprisingly, like I keep wanting to stick up for Rob. Like I keep defending Rob for a plethora of reasons, but I just wish that Sophie would, because the thing is, I understand why this is a little devastating for Sophie. I understand why Sophie has these trust issues with Rob. Once again, I don't believe that Rob has actually had any sexual relationship with anyone outside of their marriage. However, his constant communication with other women makes it seem as though he's making an effort to have other relationships with other women, which looks so bad, Rob. Like I wish Rob would understand the impact that this has on Sophie. And you would think that, the plenty of times that he has, quote, in Sophie's mind, cheated on her in the past, you'd think that he would have learned his lesson by now. But clearly, Rob has not learned his lesson. And it makes me question if he is really truly and authentically putting forth this effort to make their relationship better. I'm
Hmm.
I'm always hoping and have faith for the best when it comes to Rob and really all of these couples in general.
Right.
However, like I just find myself rooting for him so much. I really find because I want him to be better. I want Rob to be, I don't want to say the perfect man, but I just want Rob to be better. I want Rob to be a good man, be just as good in his actions as he is in his looks, because he's an extremely beautiful man. He could be a model if he wanted to
Yeah.
be on covers of magazines. Like, the man is gorgeous, but
Yes.
his actions just make him look like such an a-hole and an f-boy. And like it's like we can't get away from it. And I just want to get away from the extracurricular activities outside of his marriage. And I wish that I understood why Rob felt the need to reach out to other women and not necessarily deal with Sophie. And I understand why he may not want to deal with Sophie. Sophie can come off as a drama queen from time to time. She constantly has issues with Rob and his actions. And I understand if he does not want to sort of kind of have to have those types of conversations. So I see why Rob might reach out to other women, but at the same time, that's not a good look on your relationship, and that's not a good look on your fidelity to your significant other. And I just want Rob to do better and be better. I'm rooting for you, Rob. I am rooting for you, Rob. I want the best for
We
you
both
and
are.
Sophie. I just want him to be as good in his action as he is in his looks, because as I said before, he's a gorgeous man, but the things that he's doing to poor Sophie is just it's classic F-boy behavior. And I can't stand for it. I really can't stand for it. But we'll see what happens in the next episode. Dustin, why don't you give us your social media contacts real quick before
My
we get out
social
of
media
here?
contacts is Dustin Butler 700. My Instagram, my Facebook with Dustin Butler. I want to thank Jonathan for always being there as well, and thank you for my whole entire team very much. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Dustin. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JonathanLee07. That's $JONATHANLEE07. Thank y'all so much once again for joining us for this review on 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort, episode 10 of season 2. Join us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. Until then, I'll say bye for now. I'll see you guys on Thursday, where I'm going live for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. Hope you guys have a wonderful week and stay warm out there. I know it's going to get cold this week, so y'all stay warm.
Supposed to get some snow. So.
Right. Yeah. So we got to stay warm out there. Love you guys for watching. See you guys later. Bye, y'all.